there will be no action to take action at that particular meeting. It is simply a hearing, because so many of these things, these concerns, simply were not understood by the various agencies, the various parties. The legal information that was provided and so on and so forth left some questions undone. The way I characterized the whole thing was it was a collateralization issue that was turned into a real estate transaction, and that was not the intent of the board as I understood it the time we walked out of the room, but it morphed into something else. This will be an attempt to redress this and get everybody understanding fully the extent to which the depot as a piece of real estate has many, many facets, and we'll try to explore all those.
Thank you.
Any other reports, Supervisor Brown?
Did you want to go on as
No, I want to finish
okay.
supervisor reports.
Sure. I attended the Inland Water and Power Commission. There is an agreement, a draft agreement, that's being worked on by all entities that are taking part in the feasibility study of raising Coyote Dam. Roland has indicated to me that last month or so, a copy was taken to County Council. So I'll be meeting with County Council to go over that prior to the next meeting, which is February 17th.
Right, I have reviewed the agreement. I have some suggested changes.
Great. And it was noted that Mendocino County was left out, although they're paid up, and that Redwood Valley County Water District was included, but they have dropped out. They weren't going to make those changes, and again, I'll refer to County Council as to how to approach that. Some time ago, Inland Water and Power Commission had a proposal from the Round Valley tribes presented back in July, and every entity that belongs to Inland Water and Power Commission, with the exception of the County of Mendocino, has had a presentation on that proposal. There have been some recent glitches, but I think it's okay to proceed, and if this board agrees, I'd very much like to have a presentation in an upcoming board meeting. Also, I attended Russian River Flood Control District. They had a special meeting, and the special meeting was called as a result of their going to license with their water right, and it was to explain the inspection process by the State Water Board Water Rights Division. So everybody knew that whether you were the city of Ukiah or Millview, any district that does receive water under Russian River Flood Control's water right, that you probably will be inspected by the state as a part of that process. Something they thought would occur way off in the future, but as a result of a close eye looking at the Russian River watershed, it's going to happen much sooner. They also discussed the water supply outlook for other contractors, mainly agriculture and frost protection season that's coming up, and also their irrigation. Redwood Valley Water District is also looking at the water supply outlook. I hope to attend Millview Water District tonight. We are in a water crisis, and I just don't think it's inland Mendocino County. And I do think that this board needs to take a leadership role to address that and have a water summit of all the suppliers and those that have water rights within the county. I think it's sooner than later. And so as a result of these meetings, all of them agree that something has to happen, and I hope this board takes leadership in that regard. Thank you.
Supervisor McCowan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I also attended the meeting that was hosted by the Russian River Flood Control District, and just to underscore what Supervisor Brown said, they've charted the water supply in Lake Mendocino, and of course 1977 was the previous low year, and the comparison between January 1977 and January of this year is 53,000 acre-feet in 1977, I think about 35,000 acre-feet this year. So that's how serious things look if we don't get any additional rainfall. I also attended a meeting of the Homeless Services Planning Group, and I think that in the last couple of days, probably, they completed the point-in-time count of the homeless population in Mendocino County. I attended the Mental Health Advisory Board. There continues to be a lot of concern over crisis services in the county, and there is also some concern over the memorandum of understanding between mental health, the law enforcement agencies, and the hospitals, which is currently in the process of being updated. I also attended a meeting of the Resource Conservation District Advisory Council, which meets in Santa Rosa. Activity there is kind of at a low ebb, funding is at a low ebb, and the interest of their local partners has been at something of a low ebb lately. Thank you.
Any other Supervisor? No.
Mr. Chairman, one more, thanks to Supervisor Brown. She reminded me that we should acknowledge that the Indian Gaming Committee met, and we meet a couple times a year, and we have now put out, we're going to be putting together a request for proposals to distribute some $280,000, $300,000 to the appropriate agencies here. And so that RFP will be available, and we will be making that distribution of funds within the next, 6 months, roughly. So
Agreed.
anyone with interest in these funds, again, they're fairly categorical, they're fairly limited, but we want to make that generally known.
Getting back to the water presentation you were talking about, Supervisor Brown, I would encourage you to agendize that under your name for a future meeting to do that. Any members of the public?
John Graff speaking as a citizen. I was also at that meeting with Supervisor McCowan and Supervisor Brown, but I think the really sense of urgency is you may not be able to wait until your next meeting. On the news this morning, it said that the reservoir now is down to 30,000 acre feet, and when it gets down to 28,000 acre feet, then all the water to ag is going to be cut off, and that Sonoma County Water is actually having an emergency meeting scheduled like next week sometime. I didn't get the date because it was on the radio, but I think we're already to the point that we probably can't wait till the next meeting.
Well, I'd like to make a comment on that. You know, even last year it was Sonoma County that took the lead on getting the reductions cut, but, you know, you have two federal agencies, actually three of the Corps of Engineers, the NOAA Fisheries and the National Marine Fisheries Service, that are in control of that water. And water supply for humans, or even for agriculture, seems to be taking second fiddle. And that's the basic, you know, problem. We would have the way they are releasing more water right now than they are holding back, even if we had rains, we would still be in a severe water crisis. So, but we've talked about water crisis in this county so much that it's kind of like, oh yeah, I've heard that before. But we're going to see the results. You know, we can talk about conservation, but when people start talking about being out of water, it's going to take on a whole new tone, and that's what we're faced with. And that's why this board, we're pressing, you know, the Scout Lake is actually the bright spot. It's actually we're going to have to come up with more water because conservation efforts aren't going to do it. And they will be, when you start doing away with agriculture water, in other words, letting all of your grape crops, which is the lifeblood, especially this valley, and the whole valley clear down to Hopland area and everything. So it's, we're going to see what the word crisis really means. So, with that, we're going to move on to no other reports from supervisors. We'll move to item 7B, accept the Mendocino County Health and Human Service Agency Director's report on the status of animal care and